Hi, Patric Chan here and welcome to the third part training for the digital e-commerce. Now I have a question for you. Do you attend like seminars, training or workshops like in a hotel room or a venue and so on? I'm referring to those offline events. So if you do attend those, then have you thought about how does the event organizer or the speaker or the trainer and so on put up a seminar or put up a workshop? So if you look at their business model, they will spend a certain amount of time and a certain amount of budget to promote this workshop of theirs. And through that process, they will also have to have costs for the venue. So they may rent a workshop room in a hotel perhaps, and that could cost 10,000, 20,000 or even more or even less, whichever the amount is. And then they'll have all the logistic team in place to actually do the event. And the thing is that when they do this event will be held in a particular place, in a certain demographic. With that in mind, right, it also means that this event, this training, this workshop that they are doing, it has limited size because they can only fit up to the maximum of how big the room can be. That's the first thing. The second thing is that there is real high cost there because of the logistic and also the hotel room itself. And thirdly, I think the most so-called stressful part for any event or any workshop is that they have a deadline to do that. Now, I want you to look at a different perspective, and that's where digital e-commerce comes in. So all the workshop seminars and so on, they're actually selling what? They're just selling information. Of course, this is not a normal information, this is specialized knowledge. So they teach you on a certain topic, whether it's feng shui, whether it's internet marketing, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's real estate, whether it's trading, whether it's cryptocurrency, and so on, right? And if we were to migrate this model and go into digital e-commerce, do you see how powerful it will be? Like, can you imagine doing a workshop, or should I say training someone without actually having a workshop, without actually renting a hotel room and so on? You see all these events that are going on, this workshop seminar and so on, but if they understand what you understand about digital e-commerce and they start to structure their training, their content into modular courses that could be marketed on the internet, wow, they will be removing a lot of costs, and the best part is it can even be automated. Now that is the power of digital e-commerce. So the other point that I want to bring out about this is that the way how they sell the seminar and so on, sometimes they will tie up with like big companies, big event organizing companies, seminar organizer and so on. And by doing that, they'll have to share profit. Obviously, they have to do that because that's how the seminar organizer will work with them, because they are doing all the work and they deserve a cut of the profit. Logic, right? Now you see, if you look into how digital marketers are building their business, in fact, you hardly see me doing any seminars or workshops. Like in 2017, I only did one seminar for the entire year, and I only did like, I think 2 workshops, and that's about it. Can't remember how many, but very, very few. Maybe 2, maximum maybe 3. But if you think again, if I say just do on like one seminar, that doesn't make sense in terms of the economics of it. Now, does this mean that I don't do any other info product business marketing? The very fact is that I'm doing that every single day, and it's all on the internet. As you can see right now, this video that is being shot, many people did not go into digital marketing because they were concerned about, hey, you know, I'm a low-tech person. I do not know how to do digital marketing and so on. Now, this is a common whiteboard, nothing fancy and so on. And the lighting is not even perfect. In fact, the lighting is just the light that I have on my ceiling. That's about it, right? Nothing impressive, no amazing prop and so on. And I'm recording with like probably, I think this is like I don't know how much this costs, but it's a cheap selfie stick. And I'm just using my iPhone, whichever smartphone that you're using is probably fine to record a video. So let me explain to you in different way how digital e-commerce literally transform the industry of the infoproduct business. Infoproduct business are referring to selling information, as in selling education, selling knowledge, and so on. It could be specialized knowledge on achieving certain goals, specialized knowledge to solve certain problems, and so on. Now, look at this perspective. So let's say I want to do a workshop. Instead of me, cracking my brain on how to fill in the room and work with partners and so on, and worry about not being able to do the workshop. Now, if I just focus on digital e-commerce, let's say I sell a book, right? And let's say I sell 1,000 copies of my book over the internet, and it's not hard to do that because there's Facebook, there's Google, there are many websites where you can run your advertising and so on. So if I sell 1,000 copies of my book, which means I have 1,000 customers. Now, the best part is that, right, all I need to focus on is how could I promote the workshop to my 1,000 book readers. So I could just send an email, or maybe a couple of emails to have 50 to 100 people to say decided to come for a workshop. But the key point I want to point out here is that the cost of me sending emails is zero. I don't need to run ads. I don't need to do previews. I don't need to do anything. I just focus on digital marketing in that sense. And all of these are an automated system because it's digital. Now, that is provided if I want to do the workshop. If I don't want to do the workshops anymore from my book customers, I could offer them different programs like modular courses where it comes from syllabus to syllabus, and so on. And let's say out of the 1,000 customers, the book readers, I only have like 5 people who buy the modular course. Let's say just 5. Now, is that a problem? Not at all. Why? Because if you understand digital e-commerce, your cost is zero. You're selling intellectual property. You're selling an experience, you're selling knowledge, and so on. So even though if I just have 5 customers who buy my modular course, that is still fine. That is totally fine because there's no cost as what I've just shared with you, right? And look at the upside of it. What if out of 1,000 book customers, I have say 100 people, 10% of the customers who decided to get the modular course, and the modular course could be priced as expensive as a seminar seat or as a workshop seat. And the beauty of that, with the modular course, I don't really need to work because I don't need to travel to the hotel, to the venue and prepare. I don't have to do that because I'm just doing the recording at the comfort of my own time with my laptop, with my computer in that sense. So that is basically a scoop of idea about digital e-commerce, how you could be building a totally different kind of online business. You can watch the part 1 where I explain to you why the market is very ready right now thanks to the physical e-commerce, where it has made all of the potential customers very familiar with buying online. And then I have the second part where I also share about digital e-commerce. I actually expand that a bit further to explain to you the key point about that. And of course, now you're watching the third segment. So I hope you like this video. If you don't, that's alright as well. But if you do, feel free to like this video, and I look forward to hear of your comments there. This is Patric Chan here, signing off. See you then. Bye. Oh, there's one more point I forgot to mention in the earlier video that I recorded, which it's totally unscripted. Is this one more thing is that now you may be thinking that, but I'm not a seminar organizer, I'm not a speaker, I'm not a trainer, and so on, right? How can I tap on digital e-commerce? The very fact is that the first thing is that you need to understand that you may think that your knowledge or your information or the things that you know is not valuable because you already know about that. But the very fact is that if you're looking at the whole country, the market is huge. We're talking about millions of people out there. Alright, so for instance, let's say you know to do something. You may feel that, hey, you know what, this is nothing fancy. But the very fact is that it may be fancy to some other people who are unaware of that knowledge, right? The second thing is that when you look into business, especially on the internet, the opportunity is so big, right? Because when we go to the offline part, we always focus on our surroundings, what we actually have. We have limited resources. But when it comes to the internet, the opportunity is massive. What do I mean by that? So if you have the knowledge of digital e-commerce, right, there could be someone who you could partner with to help them to bring their knowledge on the internet, their content on the internet, and work out some deal where you can profit from it, right? It is just like being like a seminar organizer, but instead of having all this crazy costs and so on, you're just working with someone who produces the content and you are building the business. And these people could be public figures, these people could be authors, they could be speakers, they could be coaches, they could be consultants, they could be just people with additional knowledge. That's it. Alright, I'm really going off right now. Thank you.